Gina Paula is here with Home Buddies. Today I'm going to show you how to do an iliacus pullback. So the iliacus is a muscle right in the inside of your pelvis right here. And when that muscle isn't moving great, what happens is your femur, your thigh bone, it gets shoved forward in the socket a bit and you're not able to have your hips working as nature intended, which is going to be a ball and socket joint. So here's your hip and here's the socket there. So you've got your thigh bone going into the socket and you want that to be able to move freely in a 360 way. And if your hip is shoved forward, then it gets stuck and it can't really move. So to help with that, what we want to do is this exercise called the Iliacus Pullback. So you want to have your feet against a wall, and then you want to have a foam roller handy. You could also use a yoga block. The foam roller is easier to get started with. You'll be on your side, and then your feet go right against that wall. It's good to have your top leg a little bit higher so that it's not parallel with the shins, but rather you're at an angle here. So here's our starting position. Now it's super important that you keep your torso and core really, really still. So that's going to be your focus. You also want to create some space under your side where you could slip a hand through there. And you do that by engaging your abs and drawing everything towards your spine just a bit. So we're set up here, resting your head on your shoulder or a pillow. You have your knees one stacked on top of the other. So everything is stacked right now. So when I'm doing this exercise, I don't want to let myself roll back. Instead, I want to stay really stacked. You're only going to move a couple millimeters each time that you do the movement. So what I'm going to do here is breathe in, feel my side and back ribs expand. Pelvic floor draws down. Now I'm going to breathe out. Pelvic floor draws up. Squeeze the roller and draw your top leg back, the knee, just about a couple millimeters at the most. Now I'm going to breathe in again. Side and back ribs. Breathing out, squeezing and drawing back. Each time I draw back, I'm adding more millimeters. I'm not resetting. And again, breathing in, breathe out, draw back. And my pelvis is staying the same. I'm just moving my thigh bone back into the socket. And then we'll do two more. And last one. All right, so after doing that, if you get up and walk around, you should feel like your hip feels like it moves a little bit better and it feels a little bit more, comfortable. The other thing is if you go ahead and stretch your hip, you'll find generally that your flexibility will have actually increased just from doing that. Because if you think about it, if your hip is jammed up, you're only going to be able to bend it so far. So definitely do both sides unless you have one side that you know is the tight side. You could then just do that side. And usually one set's good, two sets maybe depending on how stiff your hip is. But I find that doing this, again, as part of your warm-up is a great spot to throw this exercise in. So hopefully it will help.